Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid certain fears. The fear of being alone. The fear of speaking up. The fear of being truly seen. But for INFJs, these aren't nightmares, they're playgrounds. While the world clings to safety, the INFJ walks straight into the storm, calm as if they've read the script beforehand. What others call terrifying, they call necessary. What others run from, they walk toward. Why? Because to an INFJ, fear isn't an obstacle, it's a compass. And it points them exactly where they need to go. Over the next few minutes, we'll uncover 13 things that send shivers down most people's spines, yet somehow, the INFJ embraces them like an old friend. Some of these might surprise you. Some might even challenge you. And a few might make you wonder if the INFJ is wired differently on purpose. If you've ever wondered what makes the INFJ tick, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the rarest personality type, and share this with the INFJ in your life. They'll thank you, or quietly nod in deep approval. Number 1. Walking into the unknown. Most people want guarantees before they take a step. They want the map, the forecast, the "are you sure this is safe" approval stamp. INFJs? They'd rather take the first step in the dark. It's not that they're reckless, far from it. They've thought it through. They've imagined the worst-case scenario, dissected it, and somehow decided, yeah, I can handle that. For them, uncertainty isn't a black hole, it's a blank canvas. They're not afraid to switch careers without a backup plan, travel to a country where they know no one, or start a conversation with someone who might just change their life. Why? Because they trust their intuition like most people trust GPS. If it says, go, they go. Sure, the unknown still holds risk. They feel the fear, they just don't let it vote on the decision. To an INFJ, the possibility of growth outweighs the comfort of predictability every single time. And here's the twist: when others finally see the result of that leap, they call it courage. But to the INFJ, it's just necessary. Number 2. The solitude others avoid. For most people, silence is unsettling. Too much time alone and their thoughts start to feel like unwanted guests. But for an INFJ, solitude isn't loneliness, it's oxygen. They don't just tolerate being alone, they crave it. In the quiet, their mind sharpens. They replay conversations, reflect on decisions, and wander through ideas most people never sit still long enough to explore. It's in these moments, no buzzing phone, no background noise, that they connect the dots others miss. They process emotions, plan their next moves, and sometimes just breathe without the weight of social expectation. Friends might worry they're isolating themselves, but that's not the case. Solitude isn't an escape from life, it's a return to center. It's where they recharge, away from the chaos of constant interaction. And here's the irony: the more alone time an INFJ gets, the better they show up for the people they care about. Their inner world is where they refine the empathy and insight that make them so uniquely impactful when they do re-enter the crowd. For them, solitude isn't a prison. It's home. Number 3. Speaking uncomfortable truths. Most people will dance around the truth if it risks upsetting someone. They'll sugarcoat, soften, or skip it entirely. INFJs? They'll say it, gently, but directly. It's not that they enjoy confrontation. In fact, they'd rather avoid conflict if it serves no purpose. But when something needs to be said for the sake of honesty, growth, or protecting someone from harm, they won't hold back. Their delivery is rarely harsh. They choose their words like a craftsman chooses tools, precise, intentional, and with just enough force to make the point without breaking the person. Still, the truth can sting, and they know it. But to them, sparing someone discomfort at the cost of their integrity is a trade they refuse to make. This is why INFJs are often the friend who tells you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. They'll tell you that your new relationship feels unhealthy, that you're undervaluing yourself at work, or that you're ignoring your own dreams. It's uncomfortable. It's risky. And yet, they know that silence, in some cases, would be the greater cruelty. Number 4. Facing emotional depth. For many people, emotions are like deep water. They'll wade in just enough to cool off, but anything beyond knee-deep feels dangerous. INFJs? They swim straight to the bottom. They're not afraid of sadness, grief, or vulnerability. In fact, they often seek to understand it. When a friend is in pain, they don't rush to distract them or change the subject. They sit in that space, unflinching, letting the silence hold weight. They ask the questions that peel back layers, because they know healing doesn't come from avoidance. This is part of why INFJs are seen as old souls. They don't just feel their own emotions deeply. They tune into the emotional currents of others. They can sense the shift in tone, the hesitation in your voice, the story hiding behind, "I'm fine." For them, emotional depth isn't a storm to be avoided. It's an ocean worth exploring. They know that understanding the darkness is the only way to fully appreciate the light. So while most people paddle in the shallows, the INFJ is already diving, not to drown in it, but to bring back something meaningful. Number 5. Standing against the crowd. Most people instinctively follow the current. If the majority agrees, it must be right, right? Not for an INFJ. If their intuition tells them something's off, they'll plant their feet, even if 100 others are moving in the opposite direction. It's not rebellion for the sake of it, it's conviction. INFJs are wired to measure decisions against their inner moral compass, not popular opinion. This can make them the lone voice in a room, the person who raises a quiet but unshakable "no" when everyone else is nodding "yes." And it's not easy. They feel the weight of disapproval like anyone else. But the discomfort of standing alone is nothing compared to the regret of betraying their own values. History is full of people who were laughed at, criticized, or ignored until time proved them right. INFJs know that truth often starts as an unpopular opinion. So when their heart tells them to hold the line, they do, calmly, without theatrics, but with a resolve that's impossible to shake. Because for them, blending in at the cost of integrity isn't safety. It's surrender. Number 6. Being misunderstood. For most people, being misunderstood feels like a rejection. They'll scramble to explain themselves, rephrase, or overshare just to bridge the gap. INFJs? They've learned to live with it. When you're part of the rarest personality type, you quickly realize not everyone will get you, and that's okay. They know their depth, their layered thoughts, and their way of processing the world can feel foreign to others. Instead of forcing understanding, they let it be earned over time. Sure, it can be frustrating when someone assumes they're aloof, overly sensitive, or too intense. But the INFJ would rather be genuine and misunderstood than dilute themselves just to be relatable. In their view, authenticity isn't meant to be mass-produced. It's meant to resonate with the right people. They've also learned that being misunderstood can be a kind of protection. It keeps away those who aren't ready for the way they see the world. And it makes the rare moments of true connection all the more meaningful. For the INFJ, not everyone needs to understand them. The right ones will, and that's enough. Number 7. Letting go of control. For many people, control feels like safety. They plan, predict, and prepare, believing that if they hold the reins tightly enough, nothing can go wrong. INFJs know better. Life has taught them that some things can't be scheduled, scripted, or forced into shape. They've seen how gripping too tightly can actually cause more damage, to relationships, to opportunities, to themselves. So instead, they've learned the art of letting go. That doesn't mean they're passive. They still work toward their goals and fight for what matters. But when the moment comes to release their grip and trust the process, they do it with surprising peace. They understand that life's detours often lead to the exact lessons or blessings they couldn't have planned for. It's not an easy mindset to adopt. It requires faith, in themselves, in others, and sometimes in forces they can't explain. But this surrender doesn't weaken them, it makes them adaptable. While others panic when control slips away, the INFJ leans into it, knowing that the current may just carry them somewhere they were meant to be all along. Number 8. Change and transformation. Change rattles most people. Even when it's positive, it can feel like standing on shifting ground. But INFJs? They see transformation as part of the design. They understand that nothing in life stays still, not relationships, not careers, not even the self. Rather than clinging to what was, they look for the meaning in what's becoming. An ending to them is rarely just an ending, it's a doorway. And while they may feel the sting of loss like anyone else, they're quick to search for the lesson hidden inside it. This is why INFJs often reinvent themselves without fear. They'll outgrow a job, a city, or even a way of thinking, and move on, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They trust their inner compass to guide them through the unknown that follows. It's not that they don't feel uncertainty. They do. But they've learned that transformation is the heartbeat of growth. And if you resist it, you risk living a life that no longer fits. For an INFJ, change isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. Number 9. Confronting the past. For many, the past is a locked room. They keep the door shut, afraid of what might come spilling out if they open it. INFJs, though, will turn the key. It's not because they enjoy reliving pain, far from it. But they know that ignoring old wounds doesn't heal them, it just lets them fester in the dark. So they revisit memories, even the uncomfortable ones, to understand them, to extract meaning, and to close the chapter for good. This reflection isn't about dwelling. It's about clarity. INFJs want to know why things happened, what they could learn, and how to prevent certain patterns from repeating. They see the past as a teacher, sometimes a harsh one, but always valuable. They're also willing to face their own mistakes. That's a different kind of courage, the kind that strips away pride and forces humility. Most people avoid it because it hurts. INFJs embrace it because it transforms. To them, the past isn't a trap unless you refuse to move forward. And the only way to move forward with peace is to make peace with where you've been. Number 10. Vulnerability without fear. For most people, vulnerability feels like exposure, a crack in the armor where judgment or rejection could slip through. INFJs see it differently. They know that true connection can't happen without some measure of openness. So when they choose to share their thoughts, feelings, or personal experiences, it's not weakness, it's intentional. Vulnerability, to them, is a calculated risk that often pays off in trust and authenticity. This doesn't mean they spill their heart to just anyone. They're discerning about who earns that access. But once they decide you're safe, they'll let you see the raw, unpolished parts of themselves. And when they do, it gives others permission to do the same. Ironically, this openness makes them stronger. While many fear the consequences of being too real, INFJs see that wearing a mask every day is far more exhausting. They'd rather risk occasional hurt than live behind a wall. Because to them, love, friendship, and understanding all grow in the same soil, and that soil is honesty, watered by vulnerability. Number 11. Standing alone for beliefs. When most people realize their values conflict with the majority, they hesitate. They compromise, soften their stance, or stay quiet to avoid backlash. INFJs don't. If their beliefs are rooted in deep conviction, they'll hold the line, even if no one stands beside them. It's not stubbornness, it's integrity. They know that popularity fades, but living with a fractured conscience lingers. This can make them the lone dissenting voice in a meeting, the friend who challenges the group, or the family member who refuses to endorse something they can't morally accept. It's uncomfortable, and they feel the tension like anyone else. But their loyalty to truth outweighs their desire for approval. Interestingly, this doesn't mean they're inflexible. INFJs will listen, consider other perspectives, and admit when they're wrong. But when the facts align with their values, they won't bend simply to fit in. Standing alone can be isolating, but to them, standing with the wrong crowd is far worse. In their world, solitude with integrity is worth more than acceptance with compromise. Number 12. Accepting the endings. Endings unsettle most people. Whether it's the close of a relationship, the loss of a job, or the end of a life chapter, the instinct is often to cling. INFJs see it differently. They understand that everything in life has a season, and when that season passes, holding on too tightly only prolongs the pain. This doesn't mean they don't feel the loss. They do, deeply. But they also trust that endings clear space for something new to grow. When a friendship fades, they grieve it, but they don't chase what's no longer mutual. When a dream dies, they mourn it, but they stay open to the unexpected opportunities it leaves behind. This acceptance comes from their belief in purpose, the sense that even the hardest goodbyes are part of a bigger story. They know that without endings, there can be no beginnings, and without letting go, there's no moving forward. For them, closure isn't about forgetting, it's about honoring what was, learning from it, and stepping into what's next with a steady heart. Number 13. Living authentically. No matter what. For many, authenticity is negotiable. They'll adjust their personality, beliefs, or dreams if it means fitting in or avoiding conflict. INFJs can't, and won't, do that. To them, living authentically isn't just a preference, it's the only way to feel alive. They know the cost of pretending is far greater than the cost of being disliked. And while this choice sometimes invites misunderstanding, criticism, or even isolation, it also brings an unshakable peace. Authenticity for an INFJ means saying no when something violates their values, pursuing paths others might call impractical, and showing up in relationships as their true self, flaws, quirks, and all. They're not reckless about it, they choose their moments wisely. But when the choice is between self-betrayal and honesty, they'll choose honesty every time. This steadfastness inspires others. People may not always agree with them, but they respect the courage it takes to live without a mask. And for the INFJ, that's enough. Because at the end of the day, their goal isn't to be liked by everyone, it's to be at peace with themselves. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. It shapes our choices, our relationships, and even our dreams. Most people spend their lives negotiating with it, avoiding the risks, protecting their comfort zones, and staying safely within the lines. But the INFJ lives by a different contract. They walk into the unknown, embrace solitude, and speak truths others won't touch. They dive deep into emotions, stand firm against the crowd, and accept misunderstanding as the price of authenticity. They let go of control, welcome transformation, confront the past, and open themselves to vulnerability. They stand alone for what they believe, accept life's endings, and live authentically no matter the cost. It's not that they feel no fear. They do. They've simply learned to make peace with it, to see it not as a stop sign, but as a signal that they're heading towards something worth finding. And maybe that's the quiet magic of the INFJ. They don't just survive the things that scare others. They're transformed by them. So perhaps the question isn't, why aren't INFJs afraid? It's, what could you become if you stopped running from what scares you?